These aren't your Hall of Famers, some aren't even household names, but make no mistake, these guys were dominant. From the most athletic playmakers to the scariest defenders you'll ever see, you can't sleep on this group of NFL legends. Here's episode 2 of Greatest Forgotten Players.
Physical. That's it. That's how we play.
Colts safety Bob Sanders was one of the hardest hitting players ever to grace an NFL field. Despite his 5'8" stature, Sanders used elite physicality to torture offenses.
They give it to Greg Jones, the fullback. Oh, did he get hit by Bob Sanders? He was going in and he got turned around.
Sanders' peak came in 2007, highlighted by a Defensive Player of the Year award. That season, he spearheaded the league's second-best pass defense as the unit finished #1 in points allowed.
Vince takes the snap, sets up, looks, he's got time again, rolls to the left, he's being chased, and down he goes!
Although injuries shortened Sanders' career to just 50 games, good things happened when Big Game Bob was on the field. The two-time All-Pro often elevated his play when it mattered most, notably in Super Bowl 41.
That's over Benson and the ball pops out. Bob Sanders with the pop. Reaction fake and Aaron in that deep. Looking for Berrien and he's intercepted by Bob Sanders. Boy, did he close in a hurry.
The big question is, what if he had stayed healthy? Was he headed to Canton? Andre Bad Moon Rison was one of the most electrifying receivers of the 1990s.
Chris Miller goes deep into double coverage. Andre Rison. He's gone, no flags.
With big playability, Rison had the third most receiving yards of the decade, only behind Jerry Rice and Chris Carter. And talk about well-traveled, Rison is the only player in NFL history to catch a touchdown for 7 different teams.
Jack drops straight back, sets up, gets protection, looks, throws to the sideline. It's caught by Rison. Rison is hit, struggles, trying to get back, reverses, comes to the near side, breaks it back up the sideline, out of bounds, touchdown! He didn't go out of bounds, Rison scores!
Sire to the end zone, Andre Rison.
Trips right, Gerback looking left, Gerback going into the end zone, it's caught for the touchdown!
Beautifully thrown.
Andre Rison, incredible!
But he had the most success in Atlanta with 4 1,000-yard seasons and 4 straight years with double-digit touchdowns. Rison's peak season came in 1993 when he paced the league with 15 touchdown catches.
Steps up, goes down the far sideline again to Andre Rison. He's got it! Touchdown! Andre Rison!
He went on to score the first points in Super Bowl 31, winning a Lombardi Trophy with Green Bay. The 5-time Pro Bowler finished his career with over 10,000 receiving yards and 84 touchdowns.
Less than 3 minutes left in the third. Means again.
Hey, Gusky!
Got a blocker. He's slashing, carries, dives, touchdown! Oh my!
Natron means business when he's running the ball. A supreme power back, Means ran over the competition in 1994. He racked up 1,350 yards and 12 scores on the ground, helping the Chargers get to Super Bowl 29.
They give it to Natron Means, and he's in for the touchdown!
Means compiled over 5,000 rushing yards from 1993 to 1999, playing for both the Chargers and the Jaguars. He was a key player in Jacksonville's playoff run in 1996.
Means. Smith stuffed him, he got away. Natron Means. Touchdown! Holy cow, what a run!
Means ran for well over 300 yards that postseason. To this day, no Jaguars running back has more rushing yards in a playoff game. He toughed out an 8-year career, making defenders pay dearly along the way. Hugh Douglas was an intensely physical presence in the Eagles' defense of the late 90s and early 2000s, but before he made a name for himself in Philly, he was busy winning Defensive Rookie of the Year in New York in 1995.
Draw and Miami fumbles the football, and number 99, Hugh Douglas, is up and running, and he's going to go all the way.
The former first-round pick racked up 22 sacks in 3 seasons with the Jets. With the Eagles, Douglas spearheaded a dominant defense that twice finished as the second-best scoring unit in the league.
Comes the blitz. Chandler, it's picked off right into the hands of Hugh Douglas, who dropped back from his defensive end spot in his zone blitz.
Douglas led the NFL in tackles for loss twice and recorded 4 double-digit sack seasons. The 3-time Pro Bowler was one of just 8 players with 80 or more sacks from 1995 to 2004.
Sacked again. No opportunity to deliver the ball, and it is Hugh Douglas blasting in unimpeded.
Douglas's success helped Philly make it to 3 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl appearance in his final season. If you took only his 5-year peak, Daunte Culpepper would be up there with among the greatest to ever do it. From 2000 to 2004, Culpepper trailed only Brett Favre and Peyton Manning in total passing yards and touchdowns. But neither of those guys came close to Culpepper's 28 rushing touchdowns in that span.
From the 33, Culpepper tucks it in and runs. Big pickup. He may go. He is in. Touchdown, Daunte Culpepper.
While he was there for a good time and not a long time, Culpepper did shine bright early on. He won 11 games in his first season as a starter, sharing the league lead with 33 passing scores.
Culpepper looking and throwing as far as he can throw, it looks like. And the pass is caught by Moss. Touchdown.
Culpepper accounted for nearly 21,000 yards of total offense and 157 touchdowns from 2000 to 2004. Paired with the great Randy Moss, Minnesota was an offensive juggernaut in the new millennium.
Culpepper on the roll, then looks back, and he's throwing long for Moss. He's open! Did he stay in the end zone? Yes, it's a touchdown! Oh, unbelievable!
Culpepper led the league in passing yards in 2004, guiding the Vikings to a playoff upset at Lambeau. While there's no denying the steep late career decline, you can't discount Culpepper's production in his prime.
There's nobody bigger than the game. I have an obligation to play at my highest level. And if I start playing for the money, then I will not play at my highest level.
Chris Spielman was the definition of a football player. Widely regarded as one of the toughest to ever do it, the middle linebacker was a tackling machine.
Screen to Workman. What a play! Spielman would not be denied, went right through 2 blockers and made the tackle. He saw it coming from the get-go.
Spielman finished with the second most combined tackles in the NFL from 1988 to 1997. He had 195 alone in 1994, the 5th most ever recorded in a season unofficially. While Barry Sanders carried the offense, Spielman and the D helped the Lions to 4 playoff appearances, including an NFC Championship berth in 1991.
Kramer to throw on first down, and the pass is caught underneath by Chris Gedney, and it's picked off by Spielman, and Spielman is going to run it in for the touchdown. He stole that right out of Gedney's hands.
Their 2 NFC Central titles in 91 and 93 were the last 2 times Detroit has captured its division. Spielman produced 25 takeaways over his 10-year career. The 4-time Pro Bowler finished his career in Buffalo and would go down as one of the greatest defensive leaders ever. The last thing a football fan should do is forget the wonders of running back Matt Forte. No player in the league had more combined yards from scrimmage from 2008 to 2017.
Matt Forte is running back. It's Forte cutting it back. Gets some room. Forte turns it into a big one. The chase is on. Forte will win the race. Touchdown. 68 yards.
The Tulane product was the definition of consistency. He compiled 7 consecutive seasons with over 1,400 yards from scrimmage to begin his career. His 4,672 career receiving yards are the 11th most all-time by a running back.
Butler backpedals, throws down the sideline. Touchdown!
Off the fake reverse. This is Forte into Falcons territory. Another first down. Forte still on his feet. And Forte takes it all the way for a Bears touchdown.
Forte caught a ridiculous 554 passes in his 10-year career, far more than former MVPs Walter Payton, Emmitt Smith, and Thurman Thomas. His 102 catches in 2014 were the 4th highest single-season mark for a running back. And back to that consistency, Forte had 250-plus touches in every season with the Bears. The 2-time Pro Bowler had numerous top 10 finishes in rushing yards and touchdowns.
Second down and 1. Hand off to Forte. And Forte picks up another first down and more. He is inside the 10 and will take it in for a Bears touchdown.
While Forte's teams didn't see much success, he did help lead Chicago to the NFC Championship in 2010 and the league's second-best scoring offense in 2013. Forte finished his career with over 14,000 yards from scrimmage and 75 total touchdowns.
With Bruce Matthews in front of him, Moon is rolling out. Rolling and getting nailed. Loose ball, it's picked up by Greg Lloyd.
Outside linebacker Greg Lloyd was a monster for the Steelers' revamped defense of the 90s under coach Bill Cowher. From 1991 to 1995, Lloyd made 5 straight Pro Bowls and was named to 3 consecutive All-Pro teams. While Lloyd didn't always make a splash statistically, you ask any Steelers fan and they'll tell you how important he was.
It's taken down by Greg Lloyd.
This is a total destruction of not just the quarterback, but the guy who's trying to get in your way.
The Pittsburgh defense was downright nasty during Lloyd's tenure. He forced 34 career fumbles in the Steel City as the team finished top 10 in points and yards allowed 6 times from 1988 to 1997.
Lloyd from behind, fumble. Look out.
Hit from behind, stripped of the football.
Guess who?
This is the Greg Lloyd this city is used to seeing.
In 1990, Pittsburgh was the league's best pass defense, and in 1997, they were first against the run. During his time with the Steelers, they made 7 playoff appearances, winning 5 division titles. Don't sleep on number 95. Now here's a guy who knows a thing or two about catching passes.
Kennebrew in the backfield with Brooks. And Boomer on a play action fake is back to throw. Goes long toward the end zone. Collinsworth, touchdown!
Coming out of college, Chris Collinsworth had everyone fooled by his fun-loving approach to life, but once you saw his blazing speed on the field, you knew he was the real deal. The 3-time Pro Bowler finished second Offensive Rookie of the Year voting in 1981.
Third and long, and Anderson will try to throw again. Again, Dean in pursuit. Deep for Collinsworth, he's open. Got it! And what a catch. Going downfield, looking directly back over his head. Whew.
From 1981 to 1988, he finished with the 9th most receptions and the 5th most yards of any pass catcher in that span. Collinsworth was fortunate to play with 2 legendary quarterbacks in Ken Anderson and Boomer Esiason. He led Cincy in receiving yards for 6 straight seasons. The Bengals made 3 trips to the playoffs in the 1980s. Collinsworth a big reason why.
Well, the Jets are doing a lot of blitzing, and they're showing it again. They are coming as Boomer goes back to throw. Goes long this time for Collinsworth. He has a touchdown!
For a receiver who bookended his career with 2 trips to the Super Bowl, it's not surprising that Collinsworth put up 4 1,000-yard seasons in 8 years. For being the 3rd overall pick in the 1993 draft, Garrison Hearst didn't have the easiest time transitioning to the NFL, but after a couple years, the Georgia product began to find his stride, recording his first 1,000-yard season in 1995.
Backs in the eye, handoff to Hurst, and on second effort he runs in.
But it wasn't until the 49ers signed him in 1997 that Hurst's career started to gain momentum. Hurst racked up over 1,200 yards from scrimmage in his first season in the Bay. Fast forward to Week 1, 1998, where he produced one of the greatest runs in NFL history.
You know, somewhere in the game you thought, well, they'll settle down, get some running going, and keep the scoring down, but it's been wide open from the start.
Hurst to the hole up the middle, and breaks free. 30. Midfield. The 20. The 10. Touchdown! 96 yards to win the game. That is the longest run from scrimmage in the history of the San Francisco 49ers, and it wins on opening day here in Freecom Park.
That play catapulted Hurst into the stratosphere. He racked up over 2,100 yards from scrimmage in 1998, a 49ers single-season record. Hurst made his first Pro Bowl that year, and his 5.1 yards per carry were second best in the NFL.
Trying to stop San Francisco now on 3rd and 1, and they don't. And this is Garrison Hearst, and he's out in front, and Garrison Hearst will turn it into a procession. Touchdown.
Sadly, a freak injury in the playoffs sidelined him for 2 full seasons, but he came back with authority in 2001, winning Comeback Player of the Year.
Garcia gets to Hurst, and Hurst is off to the races. 3rd and 12.
Amazing.
Hurst's powerful running helped his teams earn multiple top 5 finishes in total offense and scoring. Hurst played until 2004, finishing with over 10,000 yards from scrimmage. We all seem to remember Jim Marshall from one of the funniest moments in NFL lore, and we can't not show it.
Myra finally completes a pass, only to have his receiver, Billy Kilmer, fumble the ball. Jim Marshall recovers and sets sail for the goal line. Marshall is making NFL history as he sprints 66 yards in the wrong direction to score a safety for San Francisco.
As brutal as that was, it's not how we should remember the legendary Vikings pass rusher. This guy played 20 seasons in the NFL. There were 6 U.S. presidents in that span. And it gets crazier. Marshall started every game from 1961 to 1979. A famed Vikings Purple People Eaters member, Marshall teamed up alongside Hall of Famers Alan Page and Carl Eller to terrorize opposing quarterbacks.
Of the front 4, possibly in football, Marshall, number 70, is the quickest off the ball. For an offensive tackle who hasn't played against him, he'll be by you before you realize it.
He was really hit from behind by Jim Marshall primarily. Page was in on it. I would guess Marshall's blow was the one that jarred it loose. Marshall
and the Vikings had 10 division-winning seasons and made 4 trips to the Super Bowl. Minnesota ranked top 3 in points allowed in 7 different seasons from 1969 to 1976. Marshall's 29 career fumble recoveries are tied for the most all-time. How is he not in Canton? Is this man the most underrated tight end ever? The hardcore fan knows all about Wesley Walls and his impact on the young Carolina Panthers, but way before that, Walls was a second-round pick by the 49ers in 1989.
Can't find anybody. Throws. Touchdown 49ers. The ball is caught by Wesley Walls.
After little usage and an injury over his first 5 seasons in the Bay, Walls took his talents to New Orleans, where he got to showcase his skills.
Everett for the end zone.
With time, lost it in the end zone, and caught for a touchdown, Wesley Walls!
After a couple seasons in the Big Easy, the big tight end signed with the upstart Panthers. That's where Walls became a star, scoring 10 touchdowns in Carolina's miraculous playoff season.
Into the end zone for Walls, and it's caught for a touchdown!
Catch! When he threw that ball, I knew he threw it too far. Wesley Walls never gave up on the ball and came down with a touchdown.
Walls had an impressive stretch with Carolina, making 5 Pro Bowls from 1996 to 2001. He spent multiple seasons in the top 5 for tight ends in major receiving categories. In 1999, Walls led all tight ends with 12 touchdown catches.
Berline stuns, here comes the rush. Deep for Walls. Touchdown! Wesley Walls,
what a catch!
His second touchdown today. Collins, play action, throwing in the end zone, and caught for a touchdown!
What a catch! Woo!
How's this for production? His 49 touchdowns from 1995 to 2003 were tops in the league for all tight ends. Walls would wrap up his 14-year career with a stint in Green Bay. John Beeson might have been up there with Patrick Willis as the most feared middle linebacker in the league for a short period of time. Unfortunately, the former first-round pick dealt with injuries after the first 4 seasons of his career, but Beeson was a monster when he was on the field.
2 in the pattern, Brunell looking short and left, gives it to him, and a hard tackle made by John Beeson.
Play action. Intercepted. Same guy, Beeson. Run the reverse. T.O. Can he get around the corner? No! Great defense by Carolina.
The longtime Panther and Giant wasn't a part of many successful teams during his 9-year career in the NFL, but in 2008, he led the Panthers defense to a 12-4 record and the NFC South title. He even picked off a pass in his only playoff game.
Warner picked off by John Beeson. So John Beeson is sliding out that direction to cover Edgerrin James as he goes on the flat route and goes right into the throwing lane.
In 2009, Beeson anchored a Carolina defense that finished as a top 10 unit overall, top 5 against the pass, and 4th in takeaways. He finished 2nd to Willis in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting in 2007. Beeson was named All-Pro in 2008 when he led the NFL with 110 solo tackles.
Panthers show blitz and come with it, and there is a handoff that goes nowhere.
Ouch! My goodness! It's like he hit him with his midsection.
Beeson was named to 3 Pro Bowls and is another of the NFL's all-time what-if-he-had-stayed-healthy players. LEROY IRVIN was lightning in a bottle when he had the ball in his hands, a wizard at intercepting passes and returning punts. If IRVIN got control of the ball, you knew he could do the rest.
And it is LEROY IRVIN at the Ram 25, and IRVIN gets a couple of tremendous blocks. And he's down into Atlanta territory and might go all the way. He does. LEROY IRVIN.
Against the Falcons in 1981, IRVIN set a record with 207 punt return yards. That record still stands. IRVIN's 1981 season saw him rack up a league-best 615 punt return yards and 3 touchdowns. And speaking of TDs, IRVIN tied for the league lead in pick sixes 1984 and 1985.
Shotgun.
IRVIN is one of 18 players in NFL history with 11 or more total return touchdowns. The 2-time All-Pro racked up 35 career interceptions and 13 fumble recoveries, a nose for the ball indeed.
Todd on second down and about 17, blitzed and fires it, intercepted by LEROY IRVIN. He's going to go for a touchdown. He's down to the 20, down to the 10. He's in the end zone for the score.
While in LA, IRVIN helped guide the Rams to 7 playoff appearances, including 2 NFC Championship berths and a lone division title in 1985. He finished his 11-year career playing in 159 games. Jimmy Smith's career was slow out of the gates. After being drafted by Dallas in the second round in 1992, he didn't catch a single pass his rookie year. He then missed the next year due to health complications and wound up on the expansion Jaguars roster a year later.
Here's Desmond Howard on the return. They set up a right return. Now he throws back, gets a lateral back to the far side. Down the sideline, needs a block, gets it, still on the sideline.
He's gone.
He's got it.
However, it all changed in 1996 when Smith had his breakout campaign. He rattled off 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons and 9 in 10 years over the remainder of his career.
Single coverage. What a catch by Jimmy Smith.
Tens of thousands of people who are just going, I can't believe my eyes.
Brunell is great on the quarterback draw. Instead, he throws it quickly to Smith. Touchdown!
Brunell on the fade. Touchdown to Jimmy Smith.
Smith helped the Jaguars to 2 division titles and 5 playoff appearances, including their first ever postseason victory. The 5-time Pro Bowler also led the league with 116 catches in 1999. From 1996 to 2005, an era that overlapped with many Hall of Fame receivers, Smith was second in receptions, more than T.O., second in yards, more than Isaac Bruce, and tied for 4th in receiving touchdowns, more than Tony Gonzalez.
Brunell going to go for it all. Jimmy Smith down the sideline. Touchdown!
It's the speed of Jimmy Smith, and he just outruns Ty Law to the football.
Smith finished his career with 862 career catches and over 12,000 yards. How about a recent star that flew under the radar? Defensive lineman Jarrell Casey was a force both as a pass rusher and run stuffer in Tennessee. The 3rd-round pick in 2011 was as big a game wrecker as you could have.
Kessler under pressure. He spun down. Jarrell Casey came sliding in and took him down.
Jarrell Casey, number 99, is an outstanding football player.
He set a career high with 10.5 sacks in 2013 and went on to make 5 straight Pro Bowls from 2015 to 2019.
On 2nd and 8 could be the final play of the quarter. Ryan under pressure, football's loose. It was Jarrell Casey who knocked it loose.
Jarrell Casey, one of the best pass rushing interior defensive linemen in football, if not the best.
His final season in Tennessee was special, helping the Titans get to an AFC Championship berth. Casey was part of 2 top 5 defenses against the run and 1 top 10 unit overall. 51 career sacks and 85 TFLs for a defensive tackle, that'll work. One thing you should know about receiver Harold Jackson is that he really doesn't belong in this video. The guy should have a gold jacket. Let's take the bulk of his career. 1969 to 1981, Jackson led the NFL in total receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns.
Harold Jackson, number 29. Quick as a cobra and just as lethal.
At 5'10", Jackson hid in the turmoil
then appeared like a phantom to rendezvous with the ball.
He paced the NFL in receiving yards in 1969 and 1972, both outstanding seasons in Philadelphia. 1 year later, he was traded to the Rams, where he made All-Pro in his debut season. LA went from 14th to 1st in scoring with Jackson, leading the league in receiving touchdowns.
Play action fake to McCutcheon. He's going to throw long, and Jackson is open. He's got it at the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Darrell Jackson on the ball.
The five-time Pro Bowler played for 5 teams over his NFL career. His 1979 season in New England is truly mind-boggling. At age 33, Jackson notched another 1,000-yard season and averaged 22 yards per catch.
First down, Patriots on the Viking 41. They are going to throw. They go down the middle. He's open. Touchdown.
Jackson left the game with over 10,000 career receiving yards and 76 touchdowns. Put him in the Hall already. DERON Cherry played 11 years for Kansas City, anchoring their secondary and making 6 straight Pro Bowls from 1983 to 1988. In fact, no player had more interceptions in that time span than number 20 in red.
He gets the snap. A short drop back. He looks right. He lofts a pass. Intercepted by DERON Cherry.
Looks deep, throwing long, throws, intercepted at the 4-yard line.
He looks, he throws a line drive spiral and intercepted. DERON Cherry.
Perhaps the Ed Reed of his era, Cherry was the ultimate ball hawk with 50 career interceptions. His 684 interception return yards from 1983 to 1991 were also the most during that time. Cherry's Chiefs twice finished atop the league in takeaways, and in 1988, KC was the league's #1 pass defense.
Rifles it, intercepted at the 25-yard line by Kansas City.
Intercepted. Cherry. For the 4th time, DERON Cherry has picked off a Seattle pass.
While the Chiefs only made 3 playoff appearances during Cherry's tenure, he went out with a bang, securing 3 playoff picks in his final season.
Now Milinovich. He gets his time. Intercepted. Picked off by Cherry. Stands in, intercepted. Cherry's second of the game.
Kelly drops back, wants to throw, looks long, arching spiral, down the middle for Lofton, picked off by Cherry.
While Drew Bledsoe will forever be associated with Tom Brady, some people forget just how good a quarterback he was. And without Bledsoe, the Patriots might not have won the 2001 AFC Championship against Pittsburgh, propelling them to Super Bowl 36.
Bledsoe throwing, corner of the end zone, touchdown!
The #1 overall pick in 1993 started his NFL career out hot, leading the league in 4 major passing categories in his second season.
And he's been perfect as a Patriot. Bledsoe, long ball, man is open, tips in, touchdown, it's over.
In the face of the pressure, Drew Bledsoe puts it right on the money.
An absolutely perfect throw. That's big time.
The way he throws the ball up high and allows his player to run under it is what is so impressive. Drew Bledsoe's been through a lot this year. He walks out this stadium almost to say to the league, get ready because I'm coming.
The next 2 seasons, Bledsoe led the NFL in either attempts or completions, and in 1996 he took New England to a Super Bowl of his own.
That's Bill Parcells.
It sure is. Here's Bledsoe back to throw. And touchdown New England as they take the lead to Coates.
A year later, Bledsoe led the Patriots to their 3rd playoff appearance as their starter, also marking the 3rd time he finished as a top 10 passer. After Bledsoe departed from New England, he had stints in Buffalo and Dallas. In 2005 with the Cowboys, Bledsoe led the league with 4 fourth-quarter comebacks and 5 game-winning drives.
Keyshawn Johnson going in, touchdown!
Bledsoe, fade for Glenn, right side, gathers it in over the shoulder, touchdown, Terry Glenn. The Cowboys lead with 24 seconds to go.
Bledsoe fakes, swings, hits, Cowboys take the lead.
Bledsoe's career completions, attempts, yards, and TDs all rank within the top 25 all time. Make no bones about it, linebacker Hardy Nickerson was one of the most physical players of his era and made a living off wrapping up opponents.
And he is met by Hardy Nickerson as Nickerson just bolted his way through.
Nickerson was a great player in Pittsburgh, but he took his game to a new level with the Bucks. One of the first big-time signings in the modern free agency era, Nickerson made an immediate impact in Tampa. He racked up an unofficial single-season record 214 combined tackles in 1993.
Big rush and the sack brought down at the 20. That is Hardy Nickerson.
Collins now 4 for 4. He finds Christian, who fumbles, and it's recovered by the Buccaneers.
Now Hardy, 200 tackles last year. What an addition to this Tampa Bay defense.
He ranks 8th all-time in combined tackles with nearly 1,600. Nickerson led 4 top 5 defenses between Pittsburgh and Tampa and made 5 career playoff trips.
Warner drops, throws up the middle, pass is picked off. That's Hardy Nickerson.
Gerbach to the end zone, intercepted. That's the ball game. Hardy Nickerson.
In the early 80s, running back William Andrews was the Falcons' most lethal offensive threat. Andrews helped guide Atlanta to a division title in 1980 and another playoff appearance in 1982.
Bartkowski swings it out. Andrews at all. He got popped, but he breaks off to the 30. William Andrews, 35, 40.
Boy, does that guy have power?
Can you believe that run? Was that one of the great runs of all time?
From 1979 to 1983, Andrews led all running backs in yards from scrimmage. This is an era with Earl Campbell, Tony Dorsett, and Walter Payton. His 2,036 total yards in 1981 was by far the most in the league.
Under some pressure, swings it out. The wide open man's William Andrews. He gets across at 20, 25. William Andrews breaks away, 40. He's at midfield. Denver territory, 30-yard line. William Andrews is going to go the distance. Andrews, touchdown, Atlanta!
Jump ahead to 1983 for his best statistical season, over 1,500 rushing yards and 2,100 yards from scrimmage.
2nd and 10. Andrews to the 20. Andrews to the 15, to the 10, one man to beat. Touchdown! Another great individual effort. William Andrews.
So why don't we talk about him like we do the rest of the great backs from this time? Sadly, Andrews suffered a serious knee injury before the 1984 season that effectively ended his career. Still, you've seen the tape, and there's no refuting Andrews' greatness. He ranks 3rd in rushing among all Falcons.
Campbell steps up and throws. Cooley's got it. Breaks 2 tackles. Cooley, 20, 10, touchdown.
In an era that featured some all-time great tight ends like Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, Jason Witten, it's no wonder why Chris Cooley wasn't a household name. But from 2004 to 2010, he ranked top 5 in total catches, yards, and touchdowns among tight ends.
Brunell, Cooley, touchdown. And the pitch going to Portis, looks like he wants to throw, and the pass is caught by Cooley for the touchdown. Brunell, Cooley again. What a first half for Chris Cooley. He's got his 3rd.
Brought in by Joe Gibbs, Cooley was the perfect H-back in Washington. He went on to make 2 Pro Bowls and played his entire 9-year career in the nation's capital. Cooley helped his squad to 3 playoff appearances and was a model for consistency. He had 5 seasons with 50 catches and 700 yards from 2005 to 2010.
Big toss, looking for Cooley. In the end zone, a juggle and a catch.
Cooley, a diving catch, and Cooley hangs on to the football. A spectacular catch.
Cooley ranks 5th in team history in catches and finished his career with over 4,700 receiving yards and 33 touchdowns. You want a do-it-all defender? Look no further than Seth Joyner. Listen to these numbers. Over 1,100 tackles, 52 sacks, 26 forced fumbles, 24 interceptions, and 5 touchdowns. The versatile playmaker thrived as both an on-ball and off-ball linebacker during his 13-year NFL career. Joyner spent a lot of time in legendary coach Buddy Ryan's defense, often helping his units lead the league in takeaways.
Salisbury back. He floats. Oh! It's intercepted. And running in for a touchdown is Seth Joyner.
What a one-handed catch. Seth Joyner reaches back with his left hand on the little flare pants and picks it off.
Fumbles, and it's Seth Joyner, and he'll run it in for the touchdown.
That goes Hostetler. He's being chased. He fights, fires the football. It's intercepted by Joyner at the 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. Touchdown, Seth Joyner!
The 8th round pick out of UTEP spent his prime in Philly. Joyner finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting in 1991 and made 4 playoff trips with the Eagles. Joyner finished in the top 10 in numerous seasons for combined tackles, forced fumbles, and interceptions.
Rutledge back to throw. Gets up the middle, intended for Barbaro, picked off by Seth Joyner.
This is a guy Buddy Ryan was talking about, said last night that if Seth Joyner ever got on a winning team, he'll be all pro.
He jumped over to the NFC East rival Cardinals in 1994, where he made a second straight Pro Bowl.
Play fake, and Cunningham is down quickly by Seth Joyner. Cunningham running for his life, and down he goes.
In total, Joyner made 3 Pro Bowls and 6 playoff appearances, finally winning a Super Bowl as a backup with Denver in 1998. We sincerely hope you haven't forgotten about the Nigerian Nightmare. In 1989, Christian Okoye produced a magical rushing season, leading the league with 370 carries and 1,480 yards. He added 12 touchdowns and was well-deserving of a first-team All-Pro nod.
Second and goal. Okoye blasting up the middle. Look at this power.
My goodness.
That is something to see.
Oh my God. He was mugging people. He ran over. Wait, look out. Get out of their way. Another one didn't even knock him off me too.
Okoye churned out another Pro Bowl performance 2 years later, finishing 7th in rushing yards and tied for 7th in TDs. The bruising back powered the '89 Chiefs to a top 5 rushing attack and helped KC become a top 10 offensive unit in back-to-back years in 1990 and 91.
High set, back to number 35. Breaks it, he's going to go in. Christian Okoye, touchdown, Kansas City.
Look at Okoye. Touchdown.
Back to Okoye. Gets a nice block and scores. Touchdown, Kansas City.
In Okoye's 6 NFL seasons, the Chiefs made the playoffs 3 times. The Nigerian Nightmare racked up close to 5,000 career rushing yards and 40 scores.